Hey, what's up everybody? Brian Maple is back with another video, and I'm happy to see you guys. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. That would really help me out. So without further ado, I wanted to get into today talking about what I think the best opportunity is if you don't have a lot of money and you want to make some money online. What's the best opportunity out there? And that's the one I'm going to cover today. So in an earlier video, I talked about the different things that I was trying, the different things that I was doing, and I was going to do a review on each one of these things. So this is one of those. And the first one I'm going to start with, and the one I think that you can do with the least amount of money, would be Facebook Marketplace dropshipping. Okay? So let me go over this briefly. I'm going to give you guys a review of kind of what I think about it and some of the challenges, because it does have some challenges for sure. But I want to make sure that I offer you something that a lot of people out there, what they say is, if we don't have the money, how are we supposed to start Amazon? And I would say Amazon, I mean, not that it can't be started for less than it has been. I've done it myself. With the Amazon private label, there's different models, and I don't want to go over every different model right now. But with private label, I started mine with maybe, I don't even remember, probably 4,000 or 5,000 or less, and I was able to grow it into over $1 million in revenue yearly, and I was able to sell that business. So it's certainly possible, but I also was able to do that a couple of years back. It's changed quite a bit since. It's become more competitive, so you just have to think differently, and we'll talk about that in another video. So where can you kind of start? Now, granted, if you really want to accomplish something, if you really want to get there, you'll find a way. Whether that's through doing a second job and saving that money up, buying and selling stuff on eBay, or going to your local Goodwill and picking stuff up. However you have to find that way, that's what I would do. Because if you really want to change your life and you really want to do something different, again, that's what I recommend. Finding that thing, but you have to get the money together. Now, let's say you don't have a ton of money to start. Maybe you have, I would say maybe you need a few $100 for this, and maybe a credit card, okay? Because it's going to take a while for that money to process and come through. So let me give you a brief overview of Facebook Marketplace, kind of where it's at and what I think. And again, I'm not really an expert on this. I'm more of a beginner, but it has huge potential in my opinion, and it does not cost a lot of money to get started. So I think this is your best opportunity if you want to start for a few $100 and you want to grow into something more. And let me kind of point you in the right direction where you can get the most help from the experts. And again, I'll give you kind of my overview on the whole thing. So let's go ahead and get started. First thing, Facebook Marketplace. I'm going to pull up my screen here. And with Facebook Marketplace, I've looked over a couple of people that are kind of on the cutting edge of it. I took Paul Lipsky's course. And for those of you that don't know Paul Lipsky, he is probably best known for eBay dropshipping. And he's created a Facebook Marketplace course. It was, I believe, around $500 some. It was an excellent course. I don't mind investing that type of money into myself because I can, and I really wanted to have a great overview, and I believe he limits when he releases his course. So it's a good chunk of change, I admit. So if you only have a few $100 to start, it's probably not the best way to go, but it is a pretty decent course. I've taken the whole thing, and I really enjoyed it. It was really informative. There was a lot in there to know. One of the ones, and I'm going to show you here, this is on Udemy. So if you haven't used Udemy or Udemy, or I'm not sure how they pronounce it, but if you haven't used it before, it's basically a place where you can buy courses for all types of different things. And there's plenty of e-commerce courses on there, like for Amazon or eBay or Facebook dropshipping, just like I'm talking about here. I have not taken any of these courses. However, Cameron Lawrence does a lot of free information on YouTube. I would definitely check out his YouTube channel. And he also has a Facebook group, which you can join. And that Facebook group has a lot of great information as well. A lot of people sharing different things. But it looks like he has a course for $99.99. So that might be worth it. If you think $100 is a lot, trust me, when it comes down to investing in yourself and your knowledge, it's really not that much money. It's well worth it. I think if you want to be an entrepreneur, if you want to do something different, you want to change your life, you want to create something online that's going to bring you an income, you've got to be not afraid to spend some money. And I know $100 for a lot of people is a lot of money, but in the scale of things, you're going to see that if you truly want to do this, I mean, how much do you spend on a college credit, right? It's insane. It's probably like grad school. I don't even know what it is anymore. Probably $1,000 anymore. It's insane. That's probably over what it actually costs, but it's insane, right? So you'll spend thousands of dollars on a college class, but you'll think twice about spending $100 on a Facebook course or $500 on a Facebook course. Trust me, it's well worth it to invest in this knowledge in yourself. It can change your life. It truly can. So I wouldn't mind, and I might actually do this, just take his course and drop $100 on his course. But there's a ton of free information online as well. So you can always utilize that if you really don't want to drop the money. But again, it's always better to have somebody who shows you the path instead of trying to learn it all yourself. So anyway, I did take Paul Lipsky's course. I haven't taken this one. Good place to check it out. Now what you can do, he has that Facebook group, and I've pulled it up here. I believe you just have to kind of ask for permission. You can look for it on Facebook. It's Facebook Marketplace Dropshipping E-commerce. And I believe I found it by watching one of his YouTube videos, and I was able to jump in there. So I do read a lot on here. What I've noticed, and here's kind of, let me go over the bad first, right? So it's great because you don't need a lot of money, but there's also a lot of negatives. It's still in its infancy, Facebook Marketplace. So a lot of people's accounts have been getting shut down. Sometimes you have no idea why. When it comes to, let's say you sell an item, and from what I understand, if a customer wants a refund, a lot of times you may lose the item and they get their refund, because a lot of times it just sides with the customer, the buyer, not the seller. So it's definitely kind of like the Wild West. It's very early in the process for Facebook Marketplace, and it doesn't have a lot of protection for sellers. Now that may have changed, but I've seen people complain about that. I've seen a lot of people complain about having their accounts down and trying to get it back up. I've heard of multiple different methods. From what I understand, Facebook Marketplace is not the most responsive in getting back to you or explaining to you why you were suspended. Many times you'll try to list an item like anything that even remotely suggested it would be like a weapon, even though it might have nothing to do with a weapon. Like one time I listed a tool or something on there, like a home tool that you can use for like a tool you would use, like a drill or something, right? But some of the words in there had something where they thought it was some kind of weapon, so they flagged that, and then you can't list it. I was throwing a tactical flashlight because it said tactical. They wouldn't let me list it. It was crazy. So you really, it has definitely some frustrations, and that can be maddening. When you're trying to start, it can be very frustrating. You want to kind of build momentum when you're starting an online business, and unless you're a seasoned vet at doing it and rolling with the punches and kind of, if you're trying to build that momentum, you got to be able to get past these things. If your account gets suspended, what are you going to do? You have to do everything you can to try to get it back up by messaging them, emailing them. I've heard repeatedly doing it sometimes works. So like I said, it's not without its challenges. So if you do decide to go this route, you may even want to try to get another account, which can also be challenging, I understand, but just as a backup. But usually you have to have some kind of history to have the shipping option. What do I mean by that? So when you go to Facebook Marketplace, or Facebook, let's just say, and I'm not going to show you this on my screen because I don't want to bring up my personal Facebook information, but when you go there, when you go to buy an item, you'll notice that when you go in the Marketplace, some have options for shipping. Now, some accounts have that option for shipping, some don't. But usually you only have that option for shipping when you're at least a seasoned account, or you've been around for a little while. So opening up a new account might not be the answer, because you might not be able to have the shipping option. There are ways around that, but for the most part, shipping is what you want, because they can buy it right through Facebook Marketplace. They're protected, and they can purchase it right through Facebook Marketplace, and the money comes right to your account via Facebook Marketplace purchasing. The fees are only 5%, which is fantastic. On eBay, you're going to pay a lot more than that. You get the listing fees, and you've got you're going to end up paying like 15% in fees on eBay, I believe it is, versus 5% on Marketplace. So there's a lot more potential to make a lot more money there. Other things, for example, you can list it in like major cities like New York, but you can't list it in multiple cities at once. But sometimes you'll have people buy from other places. So again, there's a lot in the trainings, but it's like I can't go over all the details of Facebook Marketplace. I want to give you a general overview. So if I were to start today with just a few $100 and I didn't want to go out and make more money to try to start Amazon because that's what I'm certainly comfortable with, I would definitely give Facebook Marketplace a shot. The tools that you're going to need and kind of what your monthly fees are going to be. Let me kind of break those down a little bit. Now, there's a couple different tools you can use, okay? From what I understand, unless it's changed, and according to Paul Lipsky's course, you can only list about 10 a day without kind of getting flagged by Amazon, or excuse me, by Facebook. If you do more than that, they may shut down your account. And again, that's one of those negatives. It's kind of like, it's not really established enough yet where they have these funky rules and funky bots that kind of shut you down for different reasons. So that's why it's important to have a course and have a mentor to kind of help you understand what you're doing so you don't make these mistakes at the beginning, get your Facebook account shut down and quit because you're so frustrated. So again, it can be very frustrating, but new is good as well because usually there's a ton of opportunity. And I still believe there's a ton on Facebook Marketplace. So, what tools you'll need. What the tools that I use, and these aren't all from Paul Lipsky had his own way to do this, but I found this one to be much better. Z-Drop. If you just go to zdrop.com, I believe I'm still paying for it. It's $12.99 a month. And what it'll do is it allows you to quickly transfer items from, let's say, Amazon or Target or Home Depot or Lowe's or wherever you're drop shipping from, Walmart. It allows you to quickly transfer that item right to Facebook within, you can probably have one up within a minute, which is amazing. So you can do it really fast. Z-Drop copies everything over. And once you have it installed and up and running, I would encourage you to kind of watch this tutorial. You can go watch it right on their website. It'll actually show you kind of what they do. It's very easy to use, very intuitive in my opinion, and well worth the money. And you could even have 10 listings up every day without much of an issue. You're going to have to find a way to track them. I know they were working on some tracking and pricing stuff within Z-Drop. I don't know if they've ever completed it yet. But that kind of brings me to a issue I've been having with Facebook and kind of why I quit temporarily. I was using SKUGrid, which for those of you that don't know what this is, SKUGrid can be used as a repricing tool, a management tool for eBay. It works very well. It has its glitches like everything else, but for the most part, SKUGrid is very good in my opinion. And they have one for Facebook as well that's supposed to change and update your pricing. Now, for SKUGrid, depending on how many credits you want, it can vary in cost. Usually, you pay $20 to $30 a month, but in addition to that, you would pay for what's called Chrome. It's basically would run in the back end. It's a server that would update your pricing on Facebook for you. So what do I mean by that? For example, if you listed an item from Amazon and that price is $20 and you're selling it on Facebook, drop shipping it on Facebook Marketplace, let's say for $30, right? So $10 profit before the 5%. And let's say the price on Amazon changes to 30 all of a sudden overnight. Now you went from 20 to 30 and you're not making any money, you're going to lose money. What's supposed to happen is it's supposed to automatically update your pricing to a higher price. So if you said, I want to have a 100% profit margin or a 50% profit margin, whatever it might be, 20%, it will automatically update it when the price is updated on that site. So whether you took it off of Target or you took it off of Amazon, it will update that for you. Now, it wasn't working for me, and that's why I had to stop, because it got to the point where I'm going to have a virtual assistant to basically look over it. I didn't want to look over every price every day, and people were ordering items, and I was breaking even or losing money because the price wasn't updating. It only happened every once in a while, but it made me nervous, especially if you're listing items for hundreds of dollars, because you can lose quite a bit. So that's a concern. So you have to make sure you're dedicating time to this so you can check the prices yourself. Now, AutoDS has also come up with something similar where it's supposed to update pricing as well and track it for you. Now, I do know that AutoDS, when I used it, it did update pricing, and you'll probably pay about $30 a month for this, $20 to $30. It depends on what plan you have. As you see now, you can start for $1. I'm not affiliated with any of these, by the way. But you can basically get this, and it'll keep track of all the pricing for you. And they have an extension that's supposed to update it in Facebook for you. I tried it. It didn't seem to work. But, again, it was kind of in its infancy. So maybe they fixed it now, and I have yet to try it. So the downsides here is you may be checking your own pricing and updating it manually, but this will check the pricing, but it wasn't following through to the Facebook marketplace and updating it automatically. I had to go through and update it manually. So every day I'd have to get up, go through all the listings, I'd have to see which prices have changed, and then I'd have to go change them manually. You can imagine how this would take a lot of time, and this isn't something I wanted to dedicate that much time to. Not that I didn't want to put the time in to grow it, I didn't want to take the time in to check the prices every day. I have too many other things going on to do that. For me to get involved with that, I'd have to have a virtual assistant dedicated to this store, which is an option which I'm going to cover with you very briefly here. So, cost-wise, we're looking at $12.99 a month for Z-Drop, which I highly recommend. It helps you transfer your stuff over. Paul Lipsky has one as well for a similar price that helps you transfer over from, like a Home Depot listing, for example, will transfer over to your Facebook listing pretty quickly. It brings all that information over, and then you just have to put in pricing and a few other things, and bam, you're done. Again, this would all be taught to you via the course if you buy one of these courses. You could do AutoDS, which is supposed to also have an extension that's supposed to do just that, although I was not able to get it to work successfully. And then SKUGrid has an option as well, which again I was not able to successfully get to work to update my pricing. So I was too nervous with too many listings, but to be honest, I only had maybe 50 listings, 60 listings, and I was making maybe a week, maybe 4 sales a week, 5 sales a week. That's pretty amazing for just 50 listings. To put that in perspective, on eBay, I probably have 3,000 or 4,000 listings, and we'll make a lot of sales there. But when I only had a few hundred listings on eBay, I'd be like if I made a sale at all. So opportunity is huge. You can probably pay $40, $50 a month for the software that you'll need, but you're going to need to dedicate time to checking the prices and doing the updates. But the potential is massive, but also the potential to get suspended or run into an issue is also pretty big right now. And I don't know how quickly or when this will be fixed, where you have an ability to appeal if your account gets suspended, and get your account back up quickly, or they will stop flagging you for listing a tactical flashlight thinking it's a tactical rifle, right? So there's a lot of bots, there's a lot of issues yet. But despite that, I do know people that are making really good money on Facebook Marketplace, and they see the potential because it's definitely there. Now is the time to get in, and it does not cost a lot of money because, okay, maybe $50, $60 a month, maybe you pay for a course, but then when they order it, you're taking your credit card, and you can even get points that way. You're ordering it from that site and having it shipped out to the customer, and then once the customer pays you and it goes through, you get paid. But that can take a little time, 30 days or more. So there might be that you're going to have a credit to float that or some cash, right? So number one recommendation, if you're not dealing with a lot of cash, is definitely Facebook Marketplace. Definitely check it out. I will say that if you have the money and you want to invest a little more, you can go to this website. Let's see if I remember it. Site for days. Well, there must be. Here it is, right here. This is the one I recommend. If you want to hire a virtual assistant, really, and I've done a video on this before, for anything really, the people in the Philippines are such hardworking people. You're not going to pay an arm and a leg because they don't make as much over there, right? The cost of living is much, much different. Maybe $7,000 or $8,000 a year is the average, I believe, for what somebody makes in a year, and that's just the average. So you have your low ends and high ends, and online work's not extremely complicated. So you might be able to get a virtual assistant for $300 or $400 a month or less, some even less. So, or even part-time for a couple $100 a month. That would do your listings for you. That would check them for you. So it could be well worth it. I pay mine via PayPal. I have 4 that work on eBay currently. That I just hired 2 more, so 4 altogether right now. But I am honestly considering getting one for this and to do some other tasks as well because Facebook is such a massive opportunity. I want to take advantage of it. So that's my brief review of Facebook. Again, positives are it's early stages, massive potential, little money to do it. I would probably have about 1,000 or less, just because you want to have that money rolling in between your account and your credit. So that's all the positives. But again, we talked about the negatives, which is your account can get suspended, your listings can get taken down because of certain words, and there's a lot of bot issues, and the software isn't quite there yet, or at least it wasn't when I was doing it a few months back. It wasn't updating properly, so you kind of have to do that manually. But it's evolving, and I think it's going to truly be, if you get in now, it's truly a great time to get in because there's so much potential. It's hard to do listings from Amazon because Amazon will suspend you if you start using your Prime account to ship out to people. You'll get flagged for that. So, Walmart's a good place to use. Target, Home Depot is a really great place to use for that. So these are all things you can try, different items. Once you find the right item or two, you can really do well, and you'll sell a bunch of that item sometimes. So if you have any questions or concerns, please message me. I might be able to point you in the right direction. Again, I'm not really an expert on this. I know a good bit, but I'm not an expert. But fbacommute@gmail.com is my email. If you have any questions about Amazon or anything about any of the things I've covered in my videos, I'd be happy to answer them for you. And I hope you guys have a blessed night. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. It really helps me out. Have a wonderful night, guys, and God bless.